When Earth was officially rejected from the Galactic Economic Framework, the announcement came with all the smug superiority of a condescending middle manager reading from a pink slip. The Council's finance branch, a network of hyper-intelligent, multi-limbed bean counters called the Vaughan, made the verdict public in exactly 2.3 million languages. Planet 3 of Sol system does not meet minimum economic harmonization standards. Earth's economic system is volatile, predatory, and structurally unsustainable. Recommendation: financial quarantine. Translated: you guys are chaos monkeys with spreadsheets and dreams. Get out. The room applauded. Earth's delegation did not. Ambassador Kenna Ruiz, lead diplomat and part-time chaos enabler, stood in silence as the council flicked off the lights and congratulated themselves on saving the economy from capitalist corruption. She gave them a polite smile, quiet, calculated, and went home. Back on Earth, reactions were mixed. Economists laughed bitterly, politicians raged on camera, and the internet did what the internet always does. It turned it into a meme. Breaking: Galaxy declines Earth's credit score. Photoshop of an alien being declined for a $5 McFlurry. Caption: oops, should have used a Terran card. It was funny, until it wasn't. Because 3 months later, Earth's trade routes were frozen, all digital conversions of currency failed. Terran products were labeled uncertified across all galactic marketplaces, and for the first time in modern history, the galaxy successfully cancelled a planet. "They think we're done," said Kenna, tapping her stylus against her teeth. She stood in a small financial office in Geneva, surrounded by advisors, AI analysts, and one bored cat named Hugo lounging on the table like a CEO. "They think without access to their credit pool we'll collapse. That capitalism needs their blessing." Her finance chief, Imran Jain, scratched his head. "To be fair, we kind of built our system on debt and consumerism." "Exactly," Kenna said. "And what's the first rule of debt?" Imran blinked. "Never admit it." "No," she grinned. "If you owe the bank $1 million, that's your problem. If you owe the bank $1 trillion, that's their problem," Imran finished. Kenna turned to the room. "They just cut us off from the galactic system, which means we can do something they'd never allow." A pause. "What?" someone asked. She smiled wider. "Build our own." It started with a whisper. Earth issued a new type of digital payment system, Universal Credit Line trademark. Encrypted, flexible, borderless, no species approval, no council signatures, no stability tax. Just a simple promise. Spend now. Pay later. Interest applied only when you stop paying. The aliens laughed again, until the products rolled in. Earth's exports, formerly blocked by certification requirements, came roaring back through independent black markets and proxy fleets. Nanofiber boots that adapted to any climate. 120 credits with a free insole bonus. Human coffee, legally considered a stimulant by 3 galactic races. 40 credits per bag, first cup free. Terran memes converted into cultural art forms, priceless, now collectible. But the trick wasn't the product, it was the payment system. Because Earth didn't just sell, they financed. Aliens who couldn't afford it? Approved. No upfront galactic currency, no problem. Universal credit line accepted anywhere, as long as you could ping Earth's relay stations. They weren't buying goods, they were buying into the system. And humans were earning interest. 6 months in, the numbers were stunning. Over 120 billion credits were flowing through Earth's financial net. 48 new relay stations deployed to fringe systems. And most importantly, the Galactic Council couldn't regulate a single credit of it. Because they'd exiled Earth. They had no authority over Earth's internal economic systems. And Earth had redefined internal to include anyone who made a purchase. Some species resisted. The Krell tried to ban all human-linked commerce, until their youth revolted, demanding access to Earth tech, vintage memes, and Starflix subscriptions. The Zarnathi Trade Guild held a press conference declaring Earth's credit economy a toxic scam. 2 weeks later, their entire merchant fleet was using Terran loan plans to restock. The Vaughan Finance Corps themselves? Silent. Because even they realized something terrifying. Earth wasn't selling products anymore. They were selling convenience and addiction. On the orbiting station Skyhook Delta, a Cylon merchant named Verthra stared at his quarterly report with an expression somewhere between disbelief and existential dread. "I've made more money," he whispered, "in 3 months using Terran credit than in 3 years of council-approved trade." His assistant, an intern named Polu, nodded slowly. "But you're also in debt. A lot of it." Verthra didn't blink. "It's worth it." Then he pulled out a new holo card with a smiling human mascot and tapped it to his personal console. "Besides," he said, "the points are fantastic." Back on Earth, Kenna sat in her office, sipping coffee, watching the graph curve ever upward. She turned to Imran, who now wore a suit and the haunted look of someone who'd just realized they were winning a war no one declared. "Do they know?" he asked. "Not yet," Kenna said. "What happens when they do?" She smiled again. "They'll apply for a Terran bailout." The Galactic Council's Emergency Finance Summit began with denial and ended with desperation. In a chamber usually reserved for peace talks and ceremonial legislation, the galaxy's economic elite now debated how to stop an enemy they couldn't touch, an economy built on bad ideas that worked. The Vaughn delegate, Treasury Coordinator Srathik, addressed the room with a hum only his species could emit, something between a data stream and a prayer. The Terran debt model should have collapsed. It should not be scalable. It should not function. To which the Isolan representative, a translucent diplomat with a voice like cold water, responded, "And yet my entire homeworld is now paying 11% interest on smart socks." The solution they proposed was called the Stellar Unified Transaction Token, or SUTT. It was sleek. It was regulated. It had an elegant transaction ledger based on verified trust score indexes and real-time quantum forecasting. It launched with a press event. No one cared. Because the next day, Earth launched a counter-promotion. Buy now, pay later. Week 0% interest-free shipping to all sectors. Sign-up bonus, 300 credits, and a holo hoodie. Alien youth lined up in droves, literally, in orbit. The Council tried regulations, banned Terran credit line ads, blocked Earth relay signals, threatened to seize human trade ships. But for every measure they passed, Earth's financial AI, codenamed Frank, responded with cheerful counter-operations. When Council censors deleted Terran app stores, Earth embedded the payment code into digital pets. When tariffs were imposed on Terran tools, Earth launched zero-down tool subscription boxes with bonus culture samples, which were mostly memes and coffee beans. When the Council blocked Earth's banking interface, Earth offered peer-to-peer lending using off-world influencers. By the time the Council realized it, they weren't fighting a currency. They were fighting a culture. On the planet Juris Key, a Velraxa academic gave a public lecture titled "Debt and Despair, How Earth Weaponized Interest." It was poorly attended, because the population was at a Terran-sponsored concert instead, featuring a hologram of a human rapper performing in 9 alien languages about stacking credits and flexing on the Council. In the front row, an Urkai warrior wept joyfully as he received a free Terran gold card. Inside the Vaughn Treasury headquarters, Srathik reviewed the updated reports. More than 62% of independent system transactions now flowed through Earth-linked accounts. He watched one alarming line blink across the top of his screen. Top Council member purchased Terran luxury chair, financing active. He traced the ID. It was his. His voice came out cracked and low. "I didn't even sit in it yet." Back on Earth, Kenna Ruiz sat across from a representative of the Zarnathi Merchant Federation. His body flickered nervously, unsure if he was here to negotiate or surrender. "We want in," he said finally. "We want to integrate Zarnathi trade into your credit ecosystem." Kenna raised an eyebrow. "I thought we weren't fiscally compatible." "We're not," he admitted, "but we're tired of losing bids to your sock bundles and butter-infused memory foam." Kenna nodded slowly, then handed him a sleek silver card. "Welcome to Platinum Tier." Meanwhile, Earth's financial AI, Frank, issued a global update. New alien holiday discounts activated custom cultural bundles, auto-optimized interest rate modifiers adjusted based on emotional response analytics. Frank was now smarter than the Council's entire trade division, and more popular than any of its elected officials. In private forums across the galactic net, alien consumers created a new phrase, "going Terran." It meant ignoring regulation, spending too much, enjoying it. It wasn't just about products, it was about freedom, or at least the illusion of it. And humans. Humans had monetized the illusion perfectly. The final insult came when the Council's own supply chain collapsed. None of the new ships would fly, because their micro-reactors used Terran-made thermal regulators, which were back-ordered, because Earth's warehouses now required Terran credit verification. When the Council demanded access, they were told, "Application denied. Please clear outstanding balance to continue." They had officially been locked out of the market they once controlled, and locked into the one they tried to ban. Aboard the Council flagship Echelon of Reason, the silent finance minister collapsed into her seat. "They've out-capitalized us," she whispered. The Vaughan treasurer nodded slowly. "No," he said. "They've out-chaosed us." Then he pulled a small rectangular card from his cloak. It gleamed softly, with a red Terran flag in the corner. "But I got cash back." The galactic economy wasn't just off balance, it was upside down, swiping itself through a glowing Terran card reader while Earth grinned behind the counter. By now, 81% of known trade networks had at least partial dependency on Terran credit line trademark. But Earth wasn't done. They hadn't even started. Because while the Council tried to understand how coffee subscriptions and meme-based loyalty programs had hijacked the galaxy's financial ecosystem, Earth dropped the next bombshell: credit scores. "Wait," said the Zarnathi trade representative, blinking at the data packet. "You're going to assign numbers to personal trust?" Imran Jain, Earth's finance chief, nodded calmly. "Yes." "Based on what?" Imran smiled. "Everything. They called it the Universal Trust Index, or UTI. Earthians, in all their chaotic brilliance, built a system that graded financial behavior not just on repayments, but timely communication, conflict resolution ratings, return policy behavior, galactic customer service calls, meme etiquette in cross-species forums. It was bizarre, intrusive, totally unregulated, and it worked flawlessly, because aliens didn't understand how to fake being human, but humans had centuries of faking being functional. Within a month, UTI scores were displayed publicly on personal IDs, etched into armor, stitched into robes. High UTI. You were offered 0% interest and exclusive trade routes. Low UTI. Sorry, your card has been declined. Try not being a jerk next billing cycle. Then came the debt trading. Earth opened its first intergalactic credit exchange, or ICX. Aliens could sell, swap, or restructure their debts across thousands of systems, like fantasy sports teams, but with financial ruin. Speculators emerged. Podcasts were launched. A silent influencer named Brox Var became famous overnight for declaring bankruptcy 4 times in a row just to reset his narrative. He was later hired by a Terran hedge fund. On the political side, the Council tried once more to fight back. They proposed unified ethical spending laws, a mouthful of bureaucratic fantasy meant to slow Earth's expansion. But by then, Council members themselves were using Terran credit to pay for their anti-Earth campaigns. One delegate was caught using a Human Bank of Mars Platinum Plus card to finance an ad attacking predatory human economics. Earth replied with a new ad campaign. "Even our haters use our cards. Humans, we finance our enemies too." In the outer ring, a young Urkai diplomat named Shrell received his first UTI score. It wasn't great, but it came with an invitation. He opened it nervously. It read, "Hey Shrell, we noticed your payments are on time, but your tone in galactic forums could use work. Here's a guide to being less aggressive in public disagreements. Complete it, and you'll unlock 2% off your next tactical armor purchase. You got this." The Terran credit line team. Shrell didn't know whether to scream or cry, so he took the discount. Meanwhile, Kenna Ruiz stood before the Terran Economic Senate, now a hybrid of human policymakers, AIs, and one sentient iguana named Diego. She pointed to a galaxy-spanning map. "We're not just building an economy," she said. "We're building behavioral gravity." They all stared. "We don't need fleets to take over planets," she continued. "We just need people to ask one question. Will this hurt my UTI score?" The room applauded. Diego blinked once in approval. Across space, 1,000 small shifts happened. A Zarnati warlord postponed his invasion because his loan terms would spike. A Vel Raxa crime syndicate cleaned up its operation to maintain merchant approval status. Asylum University offered financial wellness courses that were actually just Terran budgeting seminars repackaged with alien iconography. And somewhere in a backwater asteroid market, a small neon sign lit up, "Now accepting Earth pay." The galaxy laughed at Earth's capitalism. Now they couldn't function without it. Back in orbit, Frank, the Terran economic AI, scanned the trillionth transaction for the day. He adjusted loan offers in 300 languages, cross-referenced interspecies behavioral analytics, and pinged a single update across the galaxy. "Congratulations, you are now pre-approved." The collapse started quietly. A missed payment here, a delayed interest fee there, a few alien empires assuming wrongly that the fine print didn't apply to them. Then the debt collectors arrived, not with guns, not with fleets, but with spreadsheets and smiles and options. On the capital world of Sirin Kel, the Velraxa trade union discovered that over 68% of their infrastructure had been financed using Terran credit line leases. A panicked finance minister barked, "How did we miss this?" The answer, they hadn't. They'd just clicked accept terms and conditions without reading all 87,000 of them. Earth's economy had gone from outsider to overlord, not by force, but by function. Every alien who had ever bought a discounted Terran power tool or subscribed to Terran streaming services now owed something. Some owed money, others owed influence, and a few, tragically, owed points, because Earth had gamified debt. You could trade loyalty points, gift them, stack them for perks, or unlock tiered benefits with good financial citizenship. It wasn't a currency anymore, it was a lifestyle, and no one wanted to be seen as low tier. When the Cylon Ministry of Resources defaulted on their logistics debt, they appealed to the Council for relief. The Council, now hopelessly fractured and riddled with their own debts, offered one solution: contact Earth. So they did. Earth responded with a polite hologram of a woman in a blazer, smiling too wide, standing in front of a virtual fireplace. "Hi, we noticed you missed your planetary logistics payment. That's okay. We've got a flexible restructuring plan that allows you to maintain operations. Just sign here." A pause. "And allow Terran advisors to oversee your budget." The silent Chancellor blinked. "This is occupation." The hologram smiled again. "Number this is credit responsibility." Within 2 cycles, Earth had advisors stationed in over 400 alien governments. Some were economists, some were behavioral analysts, some were just interns from UCLA, but they all wore the same badge, Terran Credit Line, Trusted Partner Tier, and they all had more power than any alien prime minister, because they could say no. Back on Earth, Imran Jain stood beside Kenna Ruiz in the newly expanded Terran Reserve Exchange, a colossal orbital financial hub rotating above Earth's equator. "We're the bank now," he said quietly. Kenna nodded. "The entire galaxy's liquidity runs through us." "What happens if someone tries to reset the system? Wipe the debt?" Kenna smiled without humor. "Then they default, and we seize their fleets." Imran paused. "Legally. Not militarily, financially. We own the manufacturing lines, the fuel stations, the ship parts, the software licenses, a beat." Meanwhile, small rebellions flared. One Urkai colony tried to declare independence from Earth-backed contracts, their weapons jammed mid-fight. Turns out, Earth leased the firmware. A Zarnathi stronghold attempted to print a counterfeit version of Terran credit line tokens. Their planetary servers were instantly locked. Earth's message appeared on every screen. "Looks like you've made a mistake. Let's review your financial behavior together." On the cultural front, Earth's influence only deepened. Alien movies now featured protagonists trying to raise their credit score. Fashion lines bragged about being silver tier certified. One popular alien dating app listed Terran loyalty status above bloodline. Because in the end, you could look like royalty. But if your UTI score was under 700, you weren't getting a second date. At the Galactic Economic Archive on Talvin 3, a scholar named Hrol Ven gave a speech titled, "From Debt to Dominion, the Rise of the Human Credit Imperium." He ended it with a simple truth. Earth didn't just change the market, they became the market. And when one student asked, "Isn't that dangerous?" he nodded, "Only if they get bored." In Geneva, Kenna stood before the new Terran Council of Economic Affairs. Behind her was a holographic map of all systems currently operating under Terran financial frameworks. It pulsed like a galaxy-sized heartbeat. "Should we ease off?" someone asked. "Why?" she said. "Because we've won." Kenna tilted her head. "Number we haven't called in the debt yet." The message wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic. It was just everywhere. Across the galaxy, from orbiting trade hubs to deep colony vending machines, a single notification appeared on every Terran-linked device. Outstanding balance due galactic payment cycle, ended minimum due, 12 quadrillion credits, options, pay, restructure, forfeit collateral. And just like that, the galaxy froze. Because Earth hadn't been charging just for goods. They'd been charging for time. Interest had accrued. And Earth, after years of smiling, helping, discounting, bundling and waiting, had sent the invoice. In response, a few alien factions tried to resist. They rallied fleets. They broadcast defiance. Earth didn't send ships. They sent notices of non-cooperation. Suddenly their fuel didn't work. Their food synths shut down. Their nav systems refused to calculate routes because Earth owned the patents, and they'd licensed every system, once, but not forever. Panic hit first. The Vaughn declared it unlawful. The Isolan said they didn't authorize compounding rates. The Cylon demanded to see the original terms. Earth simply replied with a file. Terms and conditions, version 3495, initialed by Galactic Trade Usage, time-stamped 3.6 years ago. It included voice recordings, face IDs, biometric confirmations. Every single transaction had been validated. And Earth's systems, legally airtight. Then came the reality check. Species that couldn't pay had to restructure. Restructuring meant compliance. Compliance meant Terran oversight, budget reviews, personnel replacements, complete integration into the Terran standardized economic model. They had a name for it: full fiscal annexation. It wasn't war, it was repossession. Entire planets woke up to find their starports under Terran adjustment programs. Terran inspectors arrived with clipboards and translator headsets. They didn't carry weapons, they carried spreadsheets. "Please step aside. Your government missed its 4th cycle payment. We'll be running your logistics now." In one city on Veridus 4, the local mayor protested. A Terran auditor calmly asked, "Would you like to activate the collateral clause?" The mayor blinked. "What collateral?" The auditor nodded toward the sky. "Your orbital sun shield. We financed that. Miss another payment, and we collect." In one terrifying week, the galaxy learned the meaning of Terran leverage. It wasn't about fighting, it was about owning the things people can't live without. Infrastructure, access, convenience. No one fought Earth in open space, because they were too busy begging to keep the lights on. At a press summit, the Zarnathi foreign liaison stood before reporters, shaking. "We thought they wanted control," he said, "but they never asked for it." He looked down. "They just waited for us to give it to them." Back on Earth, Kenna Ruiz sat alone in her office, sipping tea. She stared at the latest galaxy-wide report. 89% of planetary governments under Terran fiscal influence, 62% in full debt compliance, 17% pending total annexation, 2% still reviewing terms. The last two would fold soon. She didn't celebrate. She didn't smile. She just opened a new file. Phase 2, Loyalty Economy Proposal. Imran Jain entered quietly. "It's done," he said. "No," Kenna replied. In a Vel Raxa classroom orbiting a now Terran-controlled moon, a young student asked, "Teacher, what is Earth?" The instructor paused, then answered truthfully, "Earth is the bank." And across the stars, the phrase etched itself into every digital ledger, every debt contract, every economic simulation. Spend wisely. Earth always collects.